Hey everyone, tonight we're jumping back into the late 90s with the ultimate horror documentary, In Search of Darkness 1995 to 1999.
In Search of Darkness 1995 through 1999 to me is less of a documentary and more so of just a nostalgia spiral that spans like 6.5 hours. I was here for every single minute. What about you?
Yeah, I was living from like when the beat drops in the beginning, because the In Search of Darkness movies have a very specific score that starts at the beginning of all of them. Once that beat drops and we get this big, beautiful intro, it's 6 hours long and I was never bored. Like, how is that possible?
For me, I think this particular time frame, 95 through 99, really kind of raised me in horror. You know, I was like young at the time, you know, like early teens. For me, that's when the nostalgia hit so hard. And I mean, just right off the bat, they go into Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. Oh my God. And I love that movie so much.
Your old pal, the Crypt Keeper, has gone Hollywood in a big way.
And just to hear other like horror creators and the directors just, you know, talk about, you know, what a labor of love that movie was. I mean, honestly, all of these movies too.
That's the thing is you're hearing from the movie, the filmmakers themselves. They are talking about the impression that these other movies made on them as filmmakers. You're getting so many different opinions about all of these films. The whole thing starts with, which I love, like a breakdown of where civilization was in the 90s.
The world was shifting in various ways.
And then carnage.
Woo. Since the horror genre like pulls heavily from like current events, often having subtext in like, you know, politics and stuff like that. But once they start diving into the movies, because then they kind of go like year by year by year. It's not only kind of reiterating opinions I already had, but I'm a slut for behind the scenes stuff. And this gave me so much more information that even having watched every commentary under the sun, still didn't know all these things.
How can we one-up ourselves?
For God's sake, Chucky, drag yourself into the 90s.
I pride myself on having, or at least feeling like I've seen almost everything. And if you haven't seen any of these, a piece of advice is have a pen and paper, have the notes app on your phone up and ready, because they mention so many movies that I have never seen. And some I've never even heard of. And, you know, as James and I were watching this, we were texting each other back and forth being like, oh my God, have you seen this movie? This movie looks insane. I've never heard of it. I want to see it so bad.
Right.
I have right now at least a list of 20 movies that I want to watch now. And so I love going down like rabbit holes of different directors or different actors or different franchises. And if you love going down rabbit holes like that, the In Search of Darkness, like documentaries are perfect for you.
And like you're saying, because it goes into like a lot of mainstream stuff, you know, like I love the segment on Seven, like how the horror genre leans into like more lore and pathos kind of around this time. And it's not, you know, as silly. It's letting audiences like join in on the investigation. And we have like Scream and Halloween H2O, In the Mouth of Madness. But then there were these movies that were like filmed on camcorder. I just like was completely blown away.
Yeah, and there's even, if you are a J-horror fan, a fan of Japanese horror movies, there's a whole segment, mid to late 90s J-horror boom, before it even came to the States. There's even an entire section on horror soundtracks. Not the scores necessarily, but the actual soundtracks.
This was a period where the soundtrack album became massive.
Artists writing songs for particular films, you know, that was super popular, and they were trying to sell you the soundtrack too. And I bought it. I bought every single one of them. They always had like some alternative, you know, metal bands. You had some new metal stuff. Those soundtracks are honestly, you know, iconic and so representative of just that time in my life.
I do also want to give a shout out to them talking about The Relic, because you know that I love that movie.
You're the biggest Relic fan I know.
Yep, it kicks off 1997, and I was like, that is right. But at the end of the 90s, the genre starts to comment on itself much faster, and this documentary perfectly sums all that up while transitioning us into like the next decade of horror. And definitely stay for the credits. You'll definitely see a lot of horror creators and horror fans talking about these movies and what they mean to them. I loved seeing familiar faces in the credits.
So if you love late 90s horror specifically, or just horror in general, and you just want to know more about this specific period in time, this is perfect for you.
So the digital flash sale for the documentary begins Friday, January 16th for 10 days only at 90shorrordoc.com. The link is down below. Let us know in the comments if you order it. And until next time, Derek, what should they do?
Don't be dead.